This is Mona Lisa Baseball.
Looking for a 14 with a Giants hat.
This whole pseudonym thing, man, I feel like I'm going to be in the Freemasons or the Stonecutters for Simpsons fans.
I like the idea of it's anonymous, but we're not too careful.
You got to do your homework to find out who we are. Yeah, they're not telling you.
Exactly. Yeah. If you do your homework, you might be rewarded. Well, this is really great. I'm about to introduce to you a lifelong baseball fan, a great softball teammate, and a man that demands getting to the heart of the matter. Anonymous 14. Welcome to Mona Lisa Baseball.
Well, thank you for having me. That's really awesome. I appreciate it, guys.
I can remember you coming up to me about a year and a half ago and saying, hey, man, we got to carve some time out. Like, we got to talk baseball for a minute. And I was not able to make that happen. And so quite a while later, I'm still kind of a little unsure on where you stand on any or all of it. So,
it's funny because I share a lot of your guys' views. I couldn't concur more with your sentiment, but I'm a strong subscriber to perspectivism. I really love when I get a good epiphany, a good perspective shift, right? And being a father does that to you all the time, right? In the context of baseball, it's never been more poignant for me. It's such a through line between generations. It's such an easy way to connect. And for me, I listen to you guys' podcasts and you're pointing out all the changes, and I completely concur. And I think it's part of a symptom of a larger problem in society in general, the instant gratification, the sensationalism, all that garbage, the short attention spans. But I'm able to ignore some of that because the payoff connecting with my son is still there, if that makes sense.
Oh, definitely.
Me and my dad, we talk, but he doesn't like to get into anything real serious in nature. It's all very surface level stuff. But the one thing we always come back to, sports in general, but baseball in particular, right? The guy that threw you 100 pitches in a row just to wear out his own back, right? You always come back to it. And it's such a beautiful thing, and it connects generations in a way that's so difficult now. When you think about the life our parents led growing up versus the life we lead now, or even growing up, and my kids' lives, they're so different, and it's getting drastically different. My great-grandfather's life compared to my grandfather's life, there were some improvements, there's some changes, but it's not as drastic as it is now with the improvements in technology. My kids came into a different scene than I could have ever imagined, And so finding that one fixture that can connect you is important. It means the world to me. And gosh, it must have been under a year when The Sandlot became my 3-year-old's favorite movie. Like he had to get his, we use a Giants jersey, not a Dodgers jersey. Okay. Like he wants to be Benny, but I'm not going to put a Dodgers jersey on him.
Thank you.
So he wears the Giants jersey, right? They didn't make the PF Flyers in his size, so he has a little Converse. He's got a hat that says Sandlot on it. And he would make me recreate the scene where he jumps over the fence over and over and over again. Daddy would have to sit there with a stuffed animal dog, right? And his little foam ball. He'd make a fence out of pillows. And he'd stand at the edge of the pillow and he'd go, Daddy, I have to do this. and then he would leap the pillows, grab the ball, and make me chase him around the house until finally he'd go back over. I'd have to knock the pillow over so the fence fell on the dog, and I have to help him lift it up. And it's just meaningful. And I don't even know if I've answered your question.
This is the greatest start to an episode I could have ever imagined. It's the best.
I don't know. It felt really good listening to you guys talk ball for the last couple of days as I kind of binged to catch up on the tone and see what you're talking about. And I'm probably not as up to date on some of the baseball happenings as I normally would be.
Oh, okay.
Kind of more focused on some other things happening in the world.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
But you follow the Giants, right?
I do. And I'll get a good half a game in a night before I got to toss on some Bluey and calm everyone down. But yeah, it's a nightly thing.
Nightly, us. That's great. Yeah, it just occurred to me, totally swung and missed on my opportunity to introduce you as a lumber expert.
Oh,
I mean,
right.
he is the manager of one of the San Lorenzo branches.
To be fair, I actually manage the inventory for all the branches.
All the branches. Okay.
Lumber's just widgets.
Right.
They're just things I attach numbers to.
Right.
Oh,
right.
man. If my dad was on this call, he'd have a lot to say about the state of lumber today.
Oh,
I bet.
Oh, he does not like the drop in quality.
Mm.
He sees it as a sign of decline in society, much like we look at baseball.
You could find that anywhere. Yeah.
the deterioration, and we go, what the hell is going on here? It takes a thing that we're closest to open our eyes to it. It's funny.
This one's not even straight.
Yeah. Right.
Look at all the knots in here.
Yeah.
They're going to put up a roof with this?
My boss is 53, and we're getting in the truck to go to work, and we'd met at a bagel shop, and he looks at me and he goes, $13.50. That was 2 bagels. He goes, is that right? And I remember being in there and looking at their menu a month ago and seeing that a bagel with cream cheese was $6 and change. And you go, it's so hard to not think of your run at the bagelry in 98. And you're like, that's $1.20, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's possible for humans to get away from that, where, you know, the first time you spend over $10 for a value meal at McDonald's, you go,
Yeah, where's the value?
hold on a sec. This $10 bill doesn't get me a Big Mac and a soda?
Yeah, Taco Bell. It was like 2 tacos for $1.
Sure.
How much was
yeah.
gas the first time you bought gas?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I think it was like $1.20.
I was hovering around $1.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. You could find gas money in the couch cushions.
Oh, absolutely.
Back when a quarter meant something.
Close my eyes and hold my card up and try not to look.
Yeah, no, this is really good because when I did the emergency meeting with A9 and A10.
I just listened to that one too, by the way. The most recent I listened to.
So when they went on the first time, it was May 2 years ago. And I had this realization that I hadn't talked to them about pitch clock, about anything. I had no idea what was up in their heads, and I was really curious. So leading up to it, I was just really anticipating what they were going to say. And the concept that you brought up was kind of the forefront of their mind, which was, we got little Ryder. So we now are uncles. We have a nephew. And I need baseball in my life. We need baseball to be good so that I can have that relationship. And he was willing to put a lot, especially A9, a lot to the side to make sure that that relationship was similar to his upbringing. Because I remember when he was in diapers, his dad, Pat, was all in Giants baseball. He could name every Giant. He even called, okay, this is like a 1.5-year-old calling Will Clark Wilbur. He just referred to him as Wilbur. He was so on the inside. And it was a concept I never thought of, but I almost felt bad for trying to bash this thing to pieces. And he's going, I just want to have a good relationship with my nephew and be able to go to ball games.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't want the clock, but you know what? Shorter game's not that bad. I'm down.
Well, the thing is, we view it through our lens, right? We grew up with the game as we preferred. The next generation doesn't get a choice, right? They are handed this iteration of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because you can either push back and say this is bullshit, or you can find that through line, and that connection means more than your gripe. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm experiencing a lot of that myself. You have to prioritize one or the other. You can still sit there, and when the fucking Manfred man runner is on in the 10th inning,
I hadn't heard that like that.
turn your head and be upset. Or you can go, all right, they're on the edge of their seat waiting for this game to finish. Let's come back and enjoy the moment, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a chance to do that during the World Series. I made sure to tune in for every game.
Yeah.
And really thoroughly enjoyed watching. Much more enjoyable than I would have guessed. But it was also kind of that dream scenario, Dodgers, Yankees. Freddie Freeman's homer was super spectacular.
Well, it ain't my dream, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'd ever been as invested in 2 random teams. And then watching it all fall apart with Aaron Judge after hearing a lot about how historic his season was. You know, I wouldn't have wanted that to happen, but it was almost too perfect. The guy with the huge bat lets down the team on defense, which is so easily forgotten about. Like, nothing against Steph Curry, but when people are saying, you know, maybe Steph's the GOAT, you go, was he player of the year on defense as much as MJ? No, but we can't just forget that defense is important. You know, my dad would always tell me no one runs the bases like Willie used to. Willie Mays knew where to be. He was always first to third. And, you know, I would be like, well, Dad, maybe that's because of the bigger ballparks back then. The defensive people had to play further back. And he was like, nah, I'm not. No. Willie knew what he was doing. I don't know about these kids.
Well, they don't value defensive skills the way they used to.
Mhm.
The way they recruit kids now, it's like, can he hit? Can he throw?
Is he
we'll
tall?
teach him is he tall? We'll teach him the baseball stuff. Only it doesn't seem like they're doing a really good job at doing that these days.
I mean, look at Bryce Eldridge, right? It's like we're going to force him how to learn to play first base as opposed to someone like JT Snow, who was an ace at first base, right? And you almost had to teach him how to hit.
God, thank you for saying that. I wanted to cut JT Snow every year. His stats just kept going lower. But, man, some beautiful scoops over there.
Yeah. When you saw his defense,
Yeah.
it made it all worth it.
You're like, bat him eighth. He's first base. I don't care. Good enough.
Yeah, you've got big teams with like $100 million payrolls. They don't even have like a viable like third baseman, you know, because that's not a priority. They just have all these bats.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And these teams are underperforming. I wonder why.
I fully subscribe to baseball is always changing. I'm not opposed to change at all. It's the parameters of the rule book. And it's like sabermetrics happened, Moneyball happened, all that stuff went through baseball. If we wouldn't have changed the rules, don't you think eventually it may have been kind of figured out where it's like, all right, maybe we went a little too far this way on the pendulum. Let's kind of get back to basics. Like the Royals kind of did it a little bit when they had their speed team and it was working out great. Like, oh, you don't need only sluggers to get yourself into the World Series.
The perfect example of going too far, and I know you don't like instant replay, period, but the perfect example is instant replay used to analyze a runner sliding into a bag, right? And when they come off for that split second, but the glove's still on, that is so not in the spirit of the rule. I get up and yell every time I see it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I can get if they slide past the bag, come back, okay, that's fine. But if it's the natural motion of your body and you're on it for everything but that split second, that's an abuse of the technology.
Totally.
Yeah.
But it was up to the umpire. It's like, if you want to roll that way, go for it. And we'll see how the manager comes out, screams in his face. Like, if you want to take that stand, okay. If you think he was off the base, go for it. But now it's like, what's the computer say? Oh, we were right. We were wrong.
Yeah, let's go to New York.
You have always taken that stance. It's so interesting to me. I hadn't considered it until I talked to you. I view the game mostly from a player's perspective, right? So I always want the call right because I want the players to determine it. But when I heard you describe watching baseball like watching a play, that opened doors for me. And I think I'd experienced it at times, but hadn't given it credence. And so, yeah, on stuff like that, the arguing with the ump and all that stuff, and you like the drama, the ebb and flow, the back and forth, I find that extremely fascinating. And maybe it was something I appreciated without bringing it to the forefront of my mind. Because I always came from a player's perspective where it's like, if it's the strike, it's a strike. Or if it's the ball, don't fucking call it on me. But I appreciate how you value it from a viewer's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, you take someone like Greg Maddux. He's a great example of somehow this guy captured almost the imagination in the umpires of he's so good, I have to give him calls. And it's like, no one hated the Braves more than me. I fucking hated the Braves when it was Braves Giants. Hated. When he went from the Cubs to the Braves, I can't tell you how angry I was, how unfair that seemed. Oh, and they signed Fred McGriff. This is not fair.
Crime dog.
I hated that team. But now that I can look back, 30 years later, There was something incredible about that happening where right now, 100% Greg Maddux does not make the big leagues. He doesn't. I don't think it's possible.
You're saying he wouldn't make the big leagues today?
I don't think it would be even possible because if you can't nibble,
He doesn't throw hard enough.
if you can't nibble, what is Greg Maddux? Do we really realize that we're willing to just throw Maddux to the side, who wasn't necessarily a great hitter or anything? He just had this perception of accuracy that even the umps bought into. And that's part of a drama in a play. It's like, no, that's not a strike. Fuck that guy. That was a foot outside. It's like, probably should have swung.
But by the end of the game, the catcher's standing in the other batting.
Well, hold on. Have you thought that they're so good at framing these days? Maybe Maddux could survive, but only because of framing.
Right, which you're not so into, if I remember.
No,
right.
I hate the framing. And the Giants have the best one out there, and it's just like,
It's valuable for like another year or so.
look, man, they're going to get 2 appeals. That's it. That comes nowhere close to covering every pitch. So you're going to still see framing. You're going to see a lot of it. 2 appeals, not that much.
I actually don't think it's quite as slippery a slope as some may make it out to be. I think.
Do you think they'll stay at 2 for a while?
Which part?
The ABS appeals. I'm not going to deny that it might get there, but I think it's going to be a slower venture than some might think.
Well, we haven't made an official prediction on when they'll go to 3, when they'll go to 4, or when they'll go to 1 an inning. But
1 an inning's perfect because if you're right, then it's like virtually can be every pitch.
1 per batter. What?
Don't fuck up. You're going to get the next one.
Yeah. Give the catcher 9 and give each batter 1 per AB. Give the pitcher like 3 per inning. Yeah, it's just as many as we want. Sponsored by T-Mobile.
Okay, so A14, you gave me one of the most meaningful text message I've ever received a few years ago. And I was down in the dumps and you texted me that you just completed season 1 for the second time. Somebody hears me. And somebody thought I was either good enough or accurate enough to give it a second go round, which meant a lot to me. So we're going to go all the way back there. A lot of stuff's happened. Is there anything just at the very top of your mind where it's like, F that rule, I can't hang with this? What digs at you the most, despite the fact that you want to love baseball for your son? What's just like, if we could get rid of this one thing, maybe I could deal with it a little easier.
It's the Manfred, man. It's the runner.
Really?
Look, man, the pitch clock, the players brought that on themselves by hot dogging and walking around the mound and taking their time. They're not victims in that sense. Like, it was getting pretty ridiculous.
Sure.
So I get it. And I also despise the need for instant gratification.
Such as?
Baseball already had the ball in play more than the other major sports. It did.
You hate the ghost runner, the guy on second in the 10th inning.
Oh,
well, guess what?
It drives me nuts.
Guess what? That's why they're looking at this swing off, man.
I can't imagine that will ever make it to. I will tell you, in the context of the All-Star game, which is an exhibition, I dug it. I know it sounds stupid, but what made it sad, it was on the East Coast, so it was after midnight, so the stadium's almost empty.
Yeah, it was in Atlanta.
So no,
all the expensive seats were empty, but all the cheap seats were still full.
they were, but that wasn't where the ball was landing.
God, the ushers wouldn't let him move down, or they just didn't care.
It's one of those things where it's like, we need a conclusion. I could see it being fun. They executed it semi-poorly. I agree that it doesn't deserve you the All-Star Game MVP for knocking out 3, despite it being fairly impressive. You know.
Yeah, Schwarber's great at batting practice. It's amazing.
3 swings, 3 bombs. But now I'm going to go off on another tangent.
Bring it.
So,
please.
The home run derby, man. When I was a kid, I loved that thing.
Yeah.
We're on the tail end of the All-Star game actually mattering when people played hard, growing up. And the home run derby was the thing. But they used to use the outs instead of a timer, right? So they'd take the pitches, but when they crushed one, you watched the flight of the ball, you saw where it landed. The guy took a breath, kind of stretched, was ready for another one. That was so much better. That one guy, he hit one 514 in this year's. You saw a glimpse of it in the air, and you heard the announcer say, "Yeah, it was 514." You're like, "Cool. Can I see it?" You know?
God, I didn't know this.
Mm.
I didn't even know it was run by a timer.
Yeah, it's all timer, which is stupid.
We got clocks everywhere now, dude.
Clocks everywhere.
Clocks everywhere.
I'm so glad I asked you that question because, yeah, when I asked my dad, he was like, oh, the two main ones are the worst. I had no idea what the two main ones were. And like Ghost Runner is so off his radar. He's like, oh, I love that.
A1, I totally thought your dad was going there.
Right.
For sure. The no pickoffs pisses me off. You know, that's number 2. Yeah, the no pick.
Okay, number 2.
Limited pickoff attempts. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's just, come on, man. And I love that you pointed out, and it's not to drag Shohei, but come on, man. It has to be so much easier when you know they're out of pickoffs. Are you kidding me?
One would think so. I mean, that would be a totally fun, reasonable thing to throw in a wiffle ball game. You know, you're like, oh, now that this is happening, we're going to do this. Like, all right, yeah, spice it up.
There's stats for this, and like the success rate on a steal after there's been 2 throwbacks is incredibly high.
Yeah.
You're saying I could get one.
Cecil Fielder stole a base. Yes.
I will always remember this. So in high school, every few games, they'd televise it on the local channel, right? And there was one I was in, and I'm leading off as a left-handed pitcher, and I get the sign. I'm going first move, right? Guy starts to lift his leg. I take off. Pickoff comes. Ball goes to first. I make it to second. Safe. And I'm feeling good about myself. Watch it back later, and you hear the announcers go, and he's picked off. And, oh, luckily he got in there. It's like, no, that wasn't the point. I stole the bag, man.
Right.
Don't take that from me.
There was a high school coach that said anytime there's a right-handed first baseman and a left-handed pitcher and the runner has some speed, just take an astronomical lead and then bolt first move. The difference between the lefty and the righty first baseman is just enough. It's a trickier throw, and the percentages are on your side. And I'd never heard that. I thought that was pretty cool. I like the aggressiveness.
So, A1, I had a question for you. It's based on something you touched on at the very tail end of your Troubling Trends episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about you coaching Little League. And it's something that's a big topic in our house right now as I'm trying to guide 3 children. And it's the concept of appreciation versus entitlement. When you spoke about every kid has a bat and a helmet.
2 bats sometimes. Little leaguers, 2 bats. Because the bags are designed that way. Bat on this side, bat on this side.
I've gotten to the conversation with the coaches when they're like, well, they need to have a helmet. And it's like, well, why? Don't you have a bag of 5 helmets, which is all you could possibly ever need?
Ever.
No. Oh, you don't have that?
Lice.
Oh, but yeah, no, they all need 2 bats. We grew up in the era of the team bat. There were 2 team bats, right? If that. And then maybe there's the one kid's dad got him a bat, and you're like, oh, cool. Can I try it out? He's like, nah, not today, dude. And I guess I wanted to hear you break into the difference between the entitlement that maybe is approached with getting to play the game now versus the appreciation that we had that was developed through the lack of things given to us.
First thing that pops into my mind is kind of about where maybe baseball was when we were growing up. Like when I was first starting baseball, I had never seen SportsCenter. I don't really know if it was around in 86. I think it was, but it wasn't the fixture, obviously. And so when I got to watch a game with my dad, we're watching baseball. And you learn the game, the sport, how it's done. I just don't feel like it's done that way now. It's kind of like, let's catch the clips. And what's it going to be? Defensive, spectacular things and home runs.
Instant gratification.
And instant gratification. And how many people can actually cross home plate without pointing to the f***ing sky? Are there any big leaguers?
No, I think it's a rule now. You have to do it.
And so that's just one example, but it's like every time they see him point to the sky with 50 necklaces on, like, what do you think they're going to emulate? And so that's what they want out of the sport. They want the camera on them so that they can show what they got. And it's not, did you go 3 for 4 with a 6 sacrifice that won the game? It's like, what was your launch angle, for lack of a better, and obviously it's Little League, but it's like,
All right.
you don't think a Little Leaguer would dying to know what his launch angle is?
Coach has got the tool. They can tell him.
I feel like we're consuming, I hate that term, but we're consuming the sport in such a different way that that's just what's highlighted now, where back when we were looking, is it like, are the Giants ahead of the Reds? It's like, yeah, they're 4 games up. Awesome.
You know what's ironic is that baseball played properly is also the solution to that. That instant gratification. It's the grind. It's the work on it. It's the denial of all of that, right? You have to work your ass off. Like Major League Baseball has 162 games. You have the ups and downs. It's not supposed to be about instant gratification. It's supposed to be the long run, the work, right? It's supposed to be something that you earn. And when you earn it, you gain the appreciation for it. And that's what keeps you coming back. It's so weird to me that you can see these symptoms of entitlement in a game that is so profoundly built on appreciation. It doesn't jive in my head. I don't get it. It can be the solution and the problem at the same. I don't know.
Where's the value?
Putting you to work.
I stole it back, man.
They're gonna put up a roof with this?
I'll blow blood smoke in your face if I feel like.
Sports in general, but baseball in particular, right?
I wonder why.
The worst thing is the best thing. I just see it. I just see it in everything. So it doesn't surprise me you put that out there where like the problem is the solution and vice versa. And we just kind of got to deal with it.